Hey guys, and welcome back for another video. So what we're getting ready to react to today is a Jesse Lee Peterson video. Are you ready? Let's do it. Well, we're actually on record, so it's going to be a video. And you're going to tell me what you think, okay?
Balloon.
Balloon? We're not worried about the balloons, we're worried about this video. Now come on, let's get serious and get to business, shall we?
Let me ask, you said that white supremacy and domestic terrorism.
Are you married? Are you married?
No, I've been engaged a couple of times, but God blessed me not to get married.
I can see why you're not, because you don't have a very high view of women.
No, I do. I'm looking out for them by doing the right thing, being right and doing right. But let me ask, you also said that white supremacy and domestic terrorism has infiltrated all of our American institutions. What do you mean by that?
White supremacy and domestic terrorism has infiltrated all of our American institutions. What I mean is exactly what I said. I think that the ideology of white supremacy has infiltrated all of our American systems.
And what is white
supremacy?
Yeah.
It's the same as male supremacy. It's a belief that because you're white, you should have more influence over a country or over any regard, really, a church, whatever, however you want to say it, than people who are not white.
So is your husband white?
Yeah.
And are you white?
Yes.
And so are you a white supremacy?
All right, this is too much already. Are you white? Is your husband white? So are you a white supremacy? Like, I don't know if Jesse Lee Peterson just means to be a troll. Do you think he means to be a troll? Because I'm pretty sure it's white supremacist, number one. And then two, like, why is he trolling her like this? So you know this conversation's going bad. But let's just keep watching.
Unfortunately, I think I was born into it. Yeah.
Are you you and your husband white supremacies?
Are we white supremacies? I hope not.
But you
That's
white.
something I continuously. It's not about being white. It's not about being white.
That's what you just said.
No, I said it's not right for people to be in charge of other people just because of their skin color.
And you define that as white supremacy, right?
Yes.
But so are you and your husband white supremacies?
No.
And what makes you different? You're white.
It's not about being white.
But
it's
black people who hate you said that just the mere fact that you're white, you are a white supremacist. What do you say to that?
I would say I understand where they're coming from because I understand, that we are born. If we were white and we're born in America, we probably do have slave owners in our ancestry.
And so do you have slave owners in your ancestry?
I don't know, but my guess would be probably yes.
Why would you guess that something like that put your life at risk by going along with people who hate you because of your color?
I don't think I am putting my life at risk.
You're saying that you're white supremacist. You don't realize what you're doing?
No, I'm not saying that. You're saying that.
But
you're saying that, not me.
So there are some white people who are white supremacists and some who are not?
Yes.
And how do you determine the ones who are not?
I think the ones that are speaking out against it. People that are saying, hey, like, let's deal with this problem in our culture instead of just ignoring it, and let's deal with it.
And so just the fact that you're white and born in America can make you a white supremacist?
No, not necessarily. That's not what makes you a white supremacist.
Do you believe there's black supremacists?
Black? I don't know, to be honest.
And why wouldn't you know that?
Because I don't know I just don't. I never heard of it.
Don't know.
Maybe black supremacy doesn't exist in America, but I'm pretty sure it probably does, like in South Africa, where like the white people have a lot of issues dealing with the Africans that are there. Do I know if any of it's true? Would I ever want to go to South Africa and find out? Of course not. But this is the stuff that you can only imagine to be true, seeing as how it is predominantly, obviously, black people in Africa. So, I mean, that's like a black nation over there. So, but for Jesse Lee to be trolling her this stuff, like, I mean, she didn't say anything about herself being a white supremacist. But for Jesse to kind of deny white supremacy in the United States is what most people have a problem with, because he tries to act as if white supremacy doesn't exist, or like racism doesn't exist. And I mean, I get it. It's ideologies, but and they can be overcame, but you can't deny that that's what happened, especially in like the early, 1900s and before that. I mean, obviously black people were enslaved at one point. If you're black at all and you were like born before slavery was emancipated, you were going to be in that category. You were not allowed to own property. I don't even think that black and white people were allowed to get married back then. I'm pretty sure that black people were looked at as property to white people. And so for him to kind of deny that, that's where I think the majority of people have an issue with him, because he tries to act like that didn't exist at all. Maybe when he was growing up in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, whatever, maybe things were different then. Maybe life had already changed for black people. Short intermission for her. She's got to go to the restroom. Go ahead. Go. Oh, gosh. You guys, potty training is no fun, but thankfully she is mostly potty trained for the most part. So by the time she's 3, we're hoping to get her in preschool. But anyway, just going back to this, Jesse Lee Peterson, his main gimmick, I think, is trolling people who come on his show. And so this woman had no idea what she was getting herself into. But I just find it hilarious how happy they are, to talk to him. And it's like, Jesse Lee Peterson, I'm talking to you. And this is going to be a great conversation. And then he gets to asking you questions that are geared towards his answers. And then he won't allow you to expand on it or like voice your opinion. It's just like yes or no questions to try to prove his point. And that's what I call trolling, and I don't think it's fair and I don't think it's right, but this is another example of it. Now, do I like what Jesse Lee Peterson says for the most part? Yes, because I find it hilarious, number 1, and entertaining, number 2. But I just can't agree with it all, because I'm not going to be one of those people that just be like, well, racism doesn't exist or never has. I mean, maybe today, we are as a community, as a society, getting away from it. But I will tell you this. I feel like our society has more acceptance for like transgender and for people who want to be furries and consider themselves all type of different Fruit Loop groups and all this stuff than they do for like people who are black and white. Like I feel like there are still separate groups of black people and separate groups of white people who do not like each other simply due to that. Like, you're white, I don't like you, or you're black, I don't like you. All done? Did you wash your hands?
I gotta wash my hands.
And make sure you turn the light off. So yeah, let's keep watching this.
Maybe if there was another culture, but it's not happening here.
Black supremacy is not happening here?
Not that I'm aware of.
So when you had the terrorist attack upon America all summer by Black Lives Matter, this far-left liberal radical organization that was founded by a bunch of fat black lesbians who said that they were trained to be monsters. They're against God. They're against the nuclear family. They're against unborn children. And that black supremacists, they went around burning and destroying and stealing and robbing and killing. Is that black supremacists?
I don't think that's a fair analysis of what happened.
You didn't see what happened on TV in other places?
Sure, I saw that there was bad things that happened.
Did those things happen? Did those things I just named, that they happened?
Yeah.
Okay, those things may have happened, and they may have been done by the fat black lesbian Black Lives Matter people for sure. But that's not black supremacy. That's black people feeling as though they have the right to throw fits like a freaking 2-year-old throws tantrums because they're mad at something that one police officer did to another black person. 2 wrongs don't make a right. We can't make a change to society by proving to white people that we are uncontrollable people. So do you think that lighting places on fire, pillaging stores, running around knocking people out just because of the color of their skin and stuff, and just because you feel like cops mistreat black people, do you think that's really going to make a change? No.
I wash my hands.
Good job. Come on, finish. Let's finish reacting to this video. Now, do you think it's right for black people to try to hurt white people?
Black people.
Do you think it's right for black people to try to hurt white people just because of what happened in the past and what happens with the police?
Yeah, but how about the police?
You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make it right.
That's the baby one, and that's the mommy one, and that's the baby one.
All right, kiddo. I think this conversation is just a little too grown up for you. Maybe you should go play. But at the end of the day, it doesn't make it right. And I think we as a society have to get away from that. Like, if we're going to prove that we are civilized human beings that deserve the utmost best treatment, just like anyone of any color, then we have to act like it. And if we're causing more destruction, it doesn't help things. I'm just saying.
Some of those things.
So why isn't it fair then?
You
If it
said that you said something about Black Lives Matter being fat lesbians or something.
They are fat lesbians. That's what they say. I'm not making it up.
They say they're fat lesbians.
When they say they're lesbian, they don't say ain't no fat person gonna admit they're fat.
Do you think it's godly to call women fat?
Oh, if they fat.
Do you think that do you think it's loving to call women fat?
If they're fat, do you think that's
Wow. So here she is just stuck on the fact that he called them fat. Because obviously we can tell by her face and everything that she's probably overweight. But ma'am, there were a lot of other points that Jesse Lee Peterson said throughout this video that were completely erroneous. You could have went back, but your only problem is with the fat part. And now the conversation is about to go way left.
loving to call the president the great white hope, what you've been saying about him and what he did in the past? Is that loving?
Yeah, I'm holding him accountable.
So why is it unloving for me to not hold?
When have I ever said anything about Donald Trump being fat?
Because he's not fat, so you can't say it.
Well, first of all, he is overweight, and he's an easy person that I could call fat if I wanted to be an a-hole.
So let me ask. So you saw the terrorist attack upon America by Black Lives Matter, right?
I saw some attacks. I don't know if they were Black Lives Matter.
Is that black supremacists?
No.
When black people go around, not all, but when they go around knocking out white people because they hate them, is that black supremacy?
No, that would be wrong, but that's not black supremacy.
When they go around robbing and killing white people, is that black supremacy?
That would be wrong, but not black supremacy.
Amazing.
Do you know what black and white supremacy even means?
Yes.
No, you don't, because you keep asking me if someone does something bad, does that make them supremacy? No, that's not what this is.
And what made white people white supremacists?
Because we're in a culture where white people have always been in charge. And when you start seeing people of color rising up, there's always a huge backlash. Always.
And what do you mean, how they rising up?
Rising up in positions of authority, for example, where we see like Kamala Harris, for example, we've never had a woman vice president, specifically
and
a
it's
woman
unfortunate
of color.
we had to get her. But let me ask, black people are not rising up due to the grace of God. They're getting these things through intimidation. White people are afraid of them. They're afraid to be called racist. Which is a better way for black people to rise up? To be married, to love God with all their heart, soul, and might, to love their neighbor as themselves, or to go around bullying white people and taking things away from them?
I don't think that they do that. I don't think that is.
And that's the part that I have a problem with as well with Jesse. It's almost like he's highlighting the things that the Black Lives Matter do. And granted, it's not right. And they have been causing problems. But just like how, it's not an everyday thing that a white cop kills a black person. And sometimes it's not just simply because they're black. It's because they kind of did something. Now, granted, there have been some cases and scenarios where these, white people were picking on black people. But sometimes the black people were being obstinate and they weren't listening. And they were being, they were resisting, stuff like that. And if that's what you end up doing, you can't get mad at the consequences, because to everything there's a consequence. But do I think either of the sides are right? No, I don't think it's right to pick on black people, and I don't think it's right to pick on white people. At the end of the day, if we want racism to end, then we have to learn to accept each other and be kind to one another and respect each other. But Jesse, he kind of just like, he makes excuses for the white people, let's just call it what it is, and then he highlights the problems of the black people. And to me, that's not right either. That's not cool.
A collective issue. Yeah, does it happen? Yeah. But that's not a collective issue. That's
Which
not,
is the better way to rise up? In the grace of God or bullying white people?
I'm not going to answer that because
Why
I don't
not?
agree with the premise of the question.
What kind of preacher are you?
What kind of preacher are you?
You won't even answer any questions honestly.
Jesse, I'm going to go now. I think you're kind of an offensive person.
What do you mean?
You have been calling women fat.
I didn't call all women fat. I just said if they're fat.
You've been trying to do a lot of trick questions. You're coming across very narcissistic.
What does that mean?
Look it up. I don't want to be involved with narcissists anymore.
So
Okay? I'm going to go. You have
you're gonna
a
run?
blessed day.
Don't run.
Bye.
You're gonna run.
I
She's
think
running.
you're very offensive.
Don't run. She's running. What the?
What the? Girl, don't you say that. Anyway, I think it's hilarious that Jesse will do that to people. Like, you're just gonna sit there for 10-15 minutes and harass these people with these like stupid, pointless questions that really don't have an answer. And then you get mad when they like just get fed up and leave. Well, like, you literally harassed them verbally for like however long you had them on your show. And that's something else that I don't understand. Like, he's purposefully offensive. Like, I don't know. Whatever. You guys leave me a comment. Tell me what you think of Jesse Lee Peterson and this video in particular. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out some of my other videos. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Like and subscribe.
Like in the stars.